Hey boys and girls, cats and squirrels, Jazzy here. Happy New Year! The last video I posted was on New Year's Eve, so I haven't had a chance to wish you guys well for this new year. I hope the beginning has been treating you well, and if it hasn't, I love you, and I hope it gets better, and it will. I promise. So, today we're going to talk about body mods. Get excited. Or don't. I mean, that's up to you. I'm a person on the internet, not a cop. Anyway, so we're going to talk about body mods. More specifically, I'm going to tell you guys about mine. Total disclaimer, I don't have a ton of body stuff. I mean, I know there's plenty of people on the internet who have a lot more, who can probably share more information with you. And I'm very much, I'm just a person, so if I say something about a certain piercing or thing, and you're like, no, that's not right, then that's okay. Just like, hey, it's actually this. I'm open to criticism. I'm open to learning new things. It's totally cool. Chill. It's good. It's good. I don't know, guys. So anyway, body mods. I figured I'll talk about my ears first. So I have my ears stretched. You can't really tell where they're stretched to just because the wood plugs I have in right now, like the rose part's just so much bigger than the actual stretch. It looks a lot bigger than it is, but I'm actually currently at 7/8 of an inch, and so that means my next step would be an inch. I think they have one in between just in case you don't want to make that big of a jump, but I'm a daredevil. I'll just go straight to an inch because I'm stupid. Anyway, so I've been stretching my ears for a really, really long time, and of course I've done my share of things that honestly should have damaged the crap out of my ears and were wrong, and I learned from my mistakes, and I'm hopefully going to relay some good information to you guys, because I know there's lots of young people out there, or even people who aren't young, that they're like, oh, I want to stretch my ears, except more than likely what they say instead of that, they say, I'm going to gauge my ears. Don't say gauge, because gauge has nothing to do with the actual stretching. Gauge refers to the jewelry size. So, now granted, not everyone out there is a jerk, so they're not gonna like look at you and say, you're an idiot, when you say like, oh, I want to gauge my ears. But there are people out there that will correct you, and it's not to be a jerk, just because that's not the proper term for it. The proper term is stretching. So anyway, like I said, I've been stretching my ears for a long time. Since I was a junior in high school. I'm 22 now, so that'll kind of give you an idea of how long it's been since I started. And like most people, I had my ears pierced at a regular, like, 20 gauge. And so I started off with a 14 gauge, and I went from there. And I would say that when I was starting off small, which if you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with stretching, the bigger the number, the smaller the hole. So like when I say 14 gauge, you might think, oh, 14, that's gotta be big. No, it's really, really small. And as it goes down, the holes get bigger. So I start off as 14, and I was stretching my ears, I would say every 3 to 4 weeks. Or as often as I could get away with, because my mom was not having the ear stretching. She was totally against it. But I would do it every 3 to 4 weeks when I can get away with it. And now granted, when I was first starting off, I mean, besides the fact that when I was there, I was calling it gauging and all that good stuff. I was only making really, I would call them minute mistakes, just because it's like they didn't seem like a big deal, and I look back and I'm like, well, I should have done this differently, but it's not that huge of a deal. So I would always get my jewelry from Hot Topic, which nothing wrong with jewelry from Hot Topic, except you shouldn't use it in a freshly stretched piercing, basically, because their stuff's made out of acrylic. Acrylic is very porous. It's just not good for freshly stretched or fresh anything, basically. And also, I would always get the double packs that would come with, the acrylic plugs and the acrylic tapers. And now, here's what I would do, which is a mistake and what you shouldn't do when you're stretching. Um, I would take the tapers and I would, take my old jewelry out and I put the tapers in. And then instead of taking the plugs for this new size and putting them in, and then taking the taper out, I would leave the tapers in and I would wear the tapers as jewelry. And that's kind of a no-no. Like, granted, when you're like that small, when you're at like a 12, 10, 8, 6, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Now, granted, some people would disagree with me and say, like, no, like, you don't do it absolutely at all, like, never. And if they tell you not to, then don't do it. Don't listen to me. But I don't think it was as big of a deal as it would be if I was doing it now, which they don't. I mean, unless like I get them specially ordered, I honestly am pretty sure they don't even make tapers like this big at all. So anyway, so I was leaving the tapers in and wearing them as jewelry, which is you're not supposed to do. And then I continued to do that up until I would say ½ inch, or higher, like about ½ inch, and then, because you get to the certain point where, they don't necessarily make tapers that are big enough to go up to your next stretch, so you can use what they call the taping method, which is where you don't use electrical tape, but you use, tape, you put a layer on, like, every day, and it'll help eventually stretch your ear to the next size. Now me, I tried it, irritated the shiz out of my ear, and I was just not having it. So, like when I went, when I stretched my ears to 3/4 of an inch, and then up into here 7/8 of an inch, I did a really bad thing. I did a thing called dead stretching. If you don't know what dead stretching is where you take a silicone plug, like tunnel, I should say, because they're not, and you kind of mash it up a little bit so it's like small. You put it in your ear and you kind of let it pop. You let it revert back to its original shape. And now I did that, and I've done it quite a few times just because I'm like, don't want to do the tape method because it irritates my ears, and dead stretching is so bad. There can be so many bad things that come along with dead stretching. Now, I'm very lucky. Like, I haven't had any, like, real damage to my ears. Granted, I take my jewelry out. They're not, like, they're not ugly looking, but they're not, perfect circles like they should be if I had stretched correctly. So, yeah, so even though there's tons of videos out there where other people will show you how to dead stretch, and it seems like an easy way to get to the next size, don't do it. It's so bad for your ears. Go to a piercer that can stretch your ears for you, or do the taping method, or do something that's not dead stretching. Just don't do the dead stretching, okay? Promise? Promise me. Good. Okay, anyway, so I've been talking about that for like the longest time. So anyway, piercing-wise, I have, 3 piercings right here. I did have my double helix pierced, which is just a double cartilage. But I don't have those in right now because ear problems. It happens. So basically in the order that I got them, I got my nostril first, and I got this right after I graduated high school. I wasn't really allowed to have piercings in high school. I think the only reason my mom said I could get this is I was paying for it myself, and I mean, I was over the age of 18, so I really didn't have to ask for her permission, but I respected my mom when I lived with her enough to where I asked her. So this one, out of anything I have, and I mean that includes the stretched ears, the tattoos I have, anything, this thing hurt so friggin' bad. I'm not even kidding. Like, I know it's your nose, so it's pretty sensitive, but oh my god, like, I've thought to myself, like, maybe I'll get the other side of my nose pierced. I'm like, no. I don't know if it's worth it. It just hurts. It's painful. Oh. So, I think pain-wise, not granted, I would not give this a 9 out of 10, but I would give it maybe like a 7.5 out of 10, because it's pretty painful. But it healed really easily. I think it healed like and I think it took like a couple months to heal. It's been a while. Like literally, I got this pierced back in 2010, and it's 2015, so 5 years ago. Um, but it healed pretty easily. I've had the same jewelry in that I had when I got pierced. Um, I mean, I did switch it out at first. Well, after it healed, I switched it out for like a hoop, a nose ring, and that was fun. And then I took it out for like a Halloween thing, and then I lost the jewelry, so I'm back with my original that I had it pierced with. And I use an L-bar. That's just what fits comfortably in my nose, and that's what I like. So that's what I'm doing. And then I got my septum pierced, and my septum is only about a year old. Maybe not even that. But it was definitely the easiest piercing that I have, that I've gotten. And it was basically virtually painless. Literally, like, my piercer made me feel so comfortable, and I thought it was gonna hurt just because of how bad my nostril hurt. And and he gets up, he gets the clamps in there, and he's got the needle. He's like, okay, just take a deep breath. I'm like, okay. I'm literally sitting there at the edge of my seat. I'm like, and then he does it. I'm like, well, that was nothing. Like literally, it did not hurt. Like I felt kind of like a little pop, because there is a little bit of skin in there and stuff. And but otherwise, no. He put the needle in. I was like, oh, well, this is cool. And then he put the jewelry in. I was like, awesome. And I was on my way. The only thing that sucked about the septum is the healing process. And not that it didn't heal well or anything, because it did. But especially when I would wake up in the morning and it'd be crooked, and I'm like, I have to straighten it. And when you straighten it and your piercing's trying to heal and you got the crusties, oh, it feels like you have broken glass in your piercing. And it's like, it's not so much that it hurts, but it's just so uncomfortable. It makes your eyes water and your nose feel weird. That's just like, oh. But yeah, this one, I'd give it like a 0 out of 10. It didn't hurt when I got the piercing done, and that's really what I'm basing the pain level on. So yeah, it's easy. Now other people, it's different for them. So I know someone will comment and be like, "That it hurt for me." I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, it didn't hurt for me." And then I have my philtrum right here, and my philtrum is my most recent piercing. I've only had it for about 5 months. And now this one is probably my favorite piercing, but the healing process was definitely pretty rough for my lip. So I went in and I got it pierced. It was pretty quick. It wasn't super painful. It only really hurt when he first put the needle in. He went up and out. And it was just when he first went up that hurt. And even coming out of here, which is like, okay, whatever. So anyway, so I get it pierced, and I have my post in, I have my pretty jewelry, and I'm like, yes, I'm so stoked. And so I'm taking care of it. I'm doing a salt water, spray on it. I'm using a mouthwash, and a couple days into the healing, I got it pierced on a Tuesday, and it was either like Saturday. It was Saturday of the day after I got my piercing done, and I noticed that something felt weird. Like I couldn't put my finger on it. Like I wasn't quite sure, but something in the back where my piercing was, like the back of the piercing was, it felt strange, and I was like, well, I can feel it, so I think it's okay. I'll just it's whatever. I'll ignore it. And then literally, like I'm about to go to work, and I kind of do that, and I'm like, okay, that feels really strange. And I come to discover that my back of my piercing had somehow embedded itself into my lip. And that sucked. And I literally spent like most of my shift when I wasn't helping people, like just trying to push it out. Because I was like, no, don't embed in my lip. Like, that's bad. And So the next day, like, I finally got it out of my lip, like, right before I was going to go to sleep. So I was like, okay, I don't think we'll have to go to my shop. I think we're okay. But then the next day I woke up and it was in my lip again, and I could not get it out. So I went in, and my normal piercer, who it was the one who pierced this, he wasn't there. Um, but I did have another piercer there named Alex, who was really, really nice and was able to not only push the post out, but he gave me a longer post, and you know, and we thought, we're like, okay, this should work. This is a lot longer. It's actually the one I have in right now. So I don't have the shortest post, and I have the middle one that I had, and it fits comfortably. It's great. But unfortunately, and I think it has something to do with the fact that we just pushed something out of my lip and it has to heal. Next day, it was doing the exact same thing. But I was able to push it out, and I kept doing that until I was able to go back in. And I told him, I was like, you know, it keeps getting in my lip. I'm able to push it out, but like I don't know how long I keep doing that. And so he gave me, like, he called it the longest damn bar in the shop, and it was a pretty long post. Like, it fit great when my lip was swollen and needed relief, but once it actually healed, like, it was just so long. Like, I could comfortably, like, fit the post in between the gap in my teeth and still have, like, room to spare with the piercing. So yeah, so the healing process was rough, so it took a lot longer to heal than it should have, but my piercing's healed today, and I'm really happy with it, and I think it's cute. So yeah. I don't know if I gave this I don't think I gave this a pain rating, but when I got it done, the pain rating, I probably would say maybe about a 5 out of 10, just because that initial did kind of make me go, oh, while you was piercing. But yeah. So my tattoos, I have 4 tattoos. I'm not going to be able to show one to you just because it's on the back of my neck, and I don't know how I would make that work. But basically, so I'll start with the ones that I'll try and do it in order, basically. I can't talk. Hot mess. So basically, I have this one. This is the very first tattoo I got. I got it when I was 18, like literally on my 18th birthday back in 2010. And basically this had a couple different inspirations that kind of made me want this in particular. At the time, like, I still am really into Paramore, let's be honest, but I was really in love with their song, My Heart, or whatever it is, Heart. Oh shit. That Paramore song. And I was really inspired by the lines like, this heart it beats for only you, this heart is yours. And so this kind of design kind of came about. Like, this is not my design. Like, I've gone on to like design other tattoos, but like I kind of drew something up and it doesn't look like this. I'm glad that I didn't get what I drew on my body because it looked like crap now that I look back at it. So it's kind of inspired by that, and it's also inspired by you know, the Sacred Heart of Christ, except this is kind of my version, you know, and I think it's cool, and it's a little bit more original than the actual original one. So and this is the tattoo that when people see it, they always are like, oh my gosh, that had to have hurt. And it's like, no, it didn't hurt. Like, I literally was getting it done. I'm sitting there, I'm having the greatest time of my life. My artist, her name was Natalie, like, she was doing my very first tattoo, and I was having a great time. It did not hurt. I mean, granted, I felt like I had a really bad sunburn afterwards, but it was really, really easy tattoo to get. And people are usually surprised when I tell them that. They're like, "How about chest tattoos hurt?" And I was like, "No, this one was easy." So this one, like a 1 out of 10 pain-wise, because it was simple, out of the park, easy. The second tattoo I got is actually this one, which I don't know if you guys will be able to read it. Like, I know you guys probably won't be able to read the smaller writing. But it says Redemption, and it's got lines from one of my favorite worship songs, which Redemption. It says, I was the hand that struck the nail, but still yours reached out for mine. And this one's definitely, like, I think my favorite. The artist that did this, he unfortunately doesn't work at my shop anymore. His name's Brian. He works at a tattoo shop in San Francisco now, and they charge a lot there, so there you go. That shows you how good of an artist he is. He works at a great shop now. not, oh gosh, not the shop that I go to normally isn't great, because it is. But this one was also my most expensive. I spent about $240 on this one, because I did sit for about 2 hours. But I'm definitely really happy with it, and it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt too bad. Like this one, like this would only be like a 3 out of 10. Only because some of the shading he did kind of like sting a little bit, and I did bleed quite a bit. Like I noticed I bled on this tattoo more than I did any of the other ones I have, which was interesting. Like, I mean, I know you bleed when you get a tattoo, but still, I was like, oh, that's my blood. Oh, and ink, blood and ink, yay. So yeah, and so like it's my favorite. It was also my second, and I got this one in February of 2011, and yeah, so I kind of broke my little, I'm gonna get a tattoo on my birthday every year, and I got it earlier. So my third tattoo, which I don't know how I'm gonna show this to you, I'll kind of just do this. You kind of see it, but basically it's a cross, and it has worship song lyrics from How He Loves, and it says, he is jealous for me, his love's like a hurricane, I am a tree, bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. And this one I got on my 20th birthday, and I don't know, I absolutely love the placement. If you look, I do kind of need to get it touched up a little bit, and it's been about 2 years, well, almost 3, because I turned 23 in a couple months, but I need to get it touched up. I'm only waiting because I actually want to turn this arm into a sleeve, and I want to try and find a way to incorporate this one and this one into whatever design I choose, and whatever I'm going to choose to go on my arm. So that's the only reason I'm waiting. Some call it procrastination, I call it creative waiting. So yeah, and this one definitely also another one that people assume that would hurt a lot, but really wasn't that bad for me. The only thing that kind of was like, I guess uncomfortable is my artist, her name's Marie, she was doing the purple in the cross, like, on, like, oh, this is really, like, on this side. Got me all messed up. And I could like feel the vibration from the needle and stuff in my thumb, and that was just kind of weird. So this one's definitely probably a 2 out of 10. Like, wasn't that bad. It was just what it was. And then my fourth tattoo, which I can't show you, but it's really pretty, and maybe I'll somehow find a way to put a photo in here. It's really cute, simple words. It just says unbreakable. And I got this 2 years ago. In 2012, and I actually got a matching tattoo with my mom, which was really surprising because I love my mom, but my mom is very like, oh, I don't like tattoos and piercings and all the body mods, like, don't do it, don't dye your hair, don't, you know, whatever. And so I was very surprised when I was like, Mom, get this with me, and she's like, okay, let's get it on the back of her neck. And I was like, okay, like, it was cool, like, it was something I wasn't ever expecting would happen with me and my mom, and it worked out really nice. And this one's probably like a 3.5 out of 10, only because it wasn't painful. Like, it's just when she started like doing the black, like coloring in with the black, like it was a little sore, I would say. But otherwise, nothing I have was ever like super painful, and granted, everyone's pain tolerance and level and all that stuff is different, so I mean, you might have a tattoo back there, but like, it hurts, and I don't know. Okay, anyway, yeah, that's all the body mods and stuff I have. I don't know if I really did that great of a job of explaining anything, so if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to say hi, you can leave me a comment in the box below. Thumbs up this video, share this video, I don't know, check out my Instagram, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I gotta go get ready for work. Have a nice day.